Welcome back to Get Your Voice Out There. I'm Roberta Chadis, and today we have an extremely special show. And the way we're going to introduce it is we're going to show you a little video. So please roll the video. Thank you. This was a great video to introduce you to our guest, our special guest. We have two of them today. This is Kevin Walsh, our star in the video. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And Nick Nunes. Nice to see you too. I'll briefly introduce why we have you on the show. And you are both affiliated with the Tour de Cure and your Youth Ambassador program. And I think the best way to start is maybe Kevin, you can just give us a little brief description of what that means and the cause, okay?
Of the Youth Ambassador?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So like our jobs like as youth ambassadors, so it's like people like me living with type 1 diabetes. And our job is to really like spread awareness and get out there like really what diabetes is, what it means. And we also have public speaking events. We help fundraise. And yeah, so all the money that we make from the fundraising helps go toward research and finding the cure for diabetes, type 1 and type 2.
And it's a very exciting program because you're raising a lot of money for diabetes. And I want to introduce Nick Nunes again. And your role is the head of fundraising. Now, you're a little young to be doing this, but why don't you tell us your role and fill us in?
Kevin is our team captain of our Team One Tribe, and I am like when it comes down to like fundraising our money and getting like fundraisers together, I kind of like get everyone ready, and like people who are new to our team, like our one of our new teammates last year didn't know how to like set up a fundraiser. So like I call the restaurant, I ask them if they have available dates, if like how much our percentage is gonna be, and then I like plan the fundraiser, say we want it here, and that's.
Can you give us an example of one of the fundraisers?
So I did my first year, we had to go, like we did a Papagino's one, and so we like got this paper filled out, and she, so when we got like all of it figured out, we brought the paper back, they gave us a call, said we could get the fundraiser. And so we have a Facebook page. It's One Tribe, that's our team name. And so
that's the number one.
Yeah, it's the number one tribe. And then, so we like made an event on Facebook and then sent it to like everybody who likes our page and like our friends, and we shared it through our pages. And we just handed out flyers, like telling people when it was. And then we got like raffles. So when we get our raffles, we like go to like different establishments and get gift cards and like presents to hand out.
Great. So we're here to talk about the fundraising aspect of the Tour de Cure, and we're also here to talk about diabetes in general. But I think maybe one of the best things to do is let's look at photo number 1, which gives a picture of the actual Tour de Cure race. And maybe Kevin, you can tell us how exciting all of that is. Okay?
Yeah. It's really exciting because you're there with people who like, most of them know like what you're going through, like, and they're supportive to you. Like at the start of the ride, all the Red Riders, it's all the people riding with type 1 and type 2 diabetes, line up at the front of the race, and you all wear your like special Red Rider jackets, or like jackets pretty much. And all the people say, "Go Red Rider," and actually there's a youth ambassador, usually a youth ambassador, who gives a speech at the beginning.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So last year I did the speech at the start of the 15 mile. So there's different like starts. There's like a 15 mile, I think it's a 62 mile and a 100 mile.
So is it an inspirational kind of a speech?
Yeah. It's like you get to hear stories of people who know what it's like you feel like you have someone to relate to. And like it's just really supportive the whole ride, because people see you ride by and they say, "Go Red Rider," or if you're not a Red Rider, you get to support other people that are living with diabetes.
And it starts off up in Ipswich at the Topsfield Fair.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where it starts every single time, right?
Yeah, it starts every year at the Topsfield Fairground.
Right, and it's in May. So every May we know that you can look forward to doing that.
Yeah.
There's a nice picture number 2 that shows you, Nick, and you, Kevin, with Tara. Tell us a little bit about Tara, because I know she's very active.
She's so nice. She with new people, like when we took that picture together, when we first got there, she was actually meeting with a boy who had just gotten diagnosed. So the parents were like just getting to know like what diabetes is like, and like they were wicked nervous about it. And so like when we showed up, she like introduced us to them. Kevin told them about stuff, and she gets her word out as much as she can. Like she's wicked supportive of everyone. She like when you get to know her, she's
She also works like really hard to make sure that like everything's right. Works really hard with the youth ambassador program, like making sure we feel comfortable, getting public speaking coaches, and she's just really, really supportive and really nice and awesome.
Now, do you mind telling our audience how old you are? Would that be okay?
Yeah, I'm 14. I'm turning 15 in December.
I just turned 15.
Okay. I think you might be maybe some of my youngest guests. I'm very honored to have you here.
Thank you.
And I also want to show maybe picture number 4. That would be great, because I just want you all who are watching to see how happy everyone is to do this Tour de Cure. And I was very happy 2 years in a row to go to your kickoff.
Yeah.
Which is very special because you have a lot of good speakers and the enthusiasm really builds.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, Nick, I know how difficult it is to do fundraising. What is one of the areas that's hardest with raising money for diabetes?
It's our age. Our age is our biggest problem, because we're not taken seriously. They think a bunch of teenagers are not going to pull together a fundraiser about this. Like, it's not, they're going to ruin the place, because like that's, I guess, teenagers' reputation. And so like when we're trying to get a fundraiser together, we like tell them, oh, like about our team and how we're all teenagers, and they kind of like, they don't really support it as much as like I feel they do other fundraisers, like more organized ones, like for like a high school or something. They like are like, yeah, definitely, but like since we're just a couple of teens, it's like,
oh boy. So maybe our audience should understand the seriousness and the dedication of this program. And I think one of the ways they might understand it a little better is to understand your story of how you're dealing with this type 1 diabetes. Would you like to tell your story?
Yeah.
I think we'd like to hear it. Okay?
Yeah. So, like how I got diagnosed, all that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I don't know. I started to feel really funny. Like, I had to go to the bathroom a lot. I was always dizzy.
And how old were you then?
I was 10 years old. So it was like 4 years ago. It was in April, and I had a calf pain for a really, really long time, like cramping, because I had a high blood sugar. I didn't know yet. So I went into the emergency room because of the calf pain. I wouldn't have known otherwise. And I remember getting told I had type 1 diabetes, and I didn't really know what it meant at the time, but my dad had it, so I knew it like wasn't a good thing. So my mom took me like over to Mass General, got me all figured out, and like she promised that like this wasn't gonna like define who I was, like, and I made sure that wasn't it too. So I've been working really hard to like try to keep my blood sugar in check, and I've also like since I've done the Tour de Cure, I've gotten a constant glucose monitor and an Omnipod, and my dad's actually a type 1 diabetic too. So since I've gotten these devices, he has two, and it's helped him a lot as
Now,
well.
do you wear that on you?
Yeah, I wear the constant glucose monitor on my back and my Omnipod insulin pump on my arm.
Wow. But it doesn't hold you back, obviously. Were you playing basketball before
Yeah.
you were diagnosed?
I've been playing basketball since I was like 5-ish.
I figure.
Yeah.
So this has not held you back anyway.
No, I made sure it wouldn't.
And how did you know that the pain in your calf was different than maybe just muscle aches?
It was happening for way too long. And like I had other signs too. Like I would get up a lot in the night and like have to go to the bathroom, stuff like that. But for some reason, it was just like we knew the pain was different, and we went there and.
Because it's important, if anyone's watching, you were young,
Yeah.
and to be able to describe a type of pain like that that was different, people need to really recognize that someone even of your age is able to understand that this isn't right, this isn't normal.
Yeah.
So that's very, very important to all the parents and all of the folks that are watching. Excellent. All right, now you mentioned your dad. Let's hear a little story about his diabetes as well.
So, like, at a young age, I knew he had diabetes, but I didn't really know what it was. Like, I knew, okay, you have to stab yourself with a needle and give yourself something so you can eat. And I didn't really know, like, you had to eat everything you covered for, like, stuff like that. So then, once I got it, I started, like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on top of this. And I didn't know how, like, bad my dad's, like, really was. Like, I don't know, I guess he wasn't taking the best care of it, but I got to CGM and I got the pump, and he asked me what my CGM was. I showed him.
What does that mean, CGM?
Oh, my constant glucose monitor, sorry.
Okay, good. Okay, constant glucose monitor.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I showed him what that was, and he thought it was pretty cool, so he got one himself. And he had passed out a couple
times. So you were taking him through this.
Yeah, I was helping him a lot through it. So he had passed out a couple times because he was starting not to realize his symptoms because he's had it for 30 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah. So once he got the constant glucose monitor, he's been so much better since then. He's been more on top of his blood sugar. Like, I can tell him to check his and I can check mine. So it's pretty cool to like have someone to help me through
And
this.
it's nice. So he must be participating in the Tour de Cure.
Yeah, he actually rode last year with me. So it was his
That's
first ride and
excellent.
my first ride too.
Excellent. And how long is the ride?
So I do the 15 mile, but there's also a 62 mile and a 100 mile.
Oh my goodness, 62 miles. How long does it take to go 62 miles?
I think,
don't know. A long time.
like they have 3 different starting times because to get 15 people, like 15 mile one, a 62 mile one, and a 100 mile one, like all those people, and like the entrance isn't that big. Like just the 15 mile fills it. So they like started at different times and end all at the same time. And then, yeah, so.
Now, I missed it a couple of times in a row, and I won't miss it the next time, so I'll
Awesome.
be there.
Thank you.
I will definitely be there. I know you've done some projects together, and I'd like to pull up picture number 5 that shows the two of you in front of what looks like a pile of boxes and other things. Tell us about that.
That was actually our first fundraiser, like, ever.
Yeah, so
It was
can drive.
So in order to like ride in the race, the entry fee is $25, and then it's $200 to like.
Per member of your team.
Yeah.
So you have to, if you join, you have to raise $200 like for each member of your team.
And our goal was to make it so that nobody had to pay anything like out of their pocket, like donations and fundraising. And we had to sign up somehow, and we didn't have money to sign up. So we held a can drive at his house, and we had everyone bring like bags of cans over, and we went down to our like place where they collect cans, and they gave us money to like start everyone on the team.
Yeah, so we didn't have a lot of like team members at first. It started off with like me and him, and then like maybe 2 or 3 other people, and that actually covered like most of our entry fees.
So now you're exhibiting some leadership skills here,
Yeah.
some teamwork. It's hard. It's hard, but it's fun to have other people helping you, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so much fun that picture number 6 shows you doing another one, right? Another fundraiser?
Yeah.
That's our annual car wash, actually.
Yeah.
It's one of it's the one that we've done every year.
It raises like the most amount of money usually too. I think one year we made around like, it was either 500 to 600 from it.
That's like I think that's our favorite fundraiser and like our most successful one.
It's like really important to us too because we have the most fun at it. We have fun at all of our fundraisers, but like that one, like we have the most fun because at the end we get all the sponges and we have a fight with them, and it's like, yeah,
it's like
awesome.
I always
like
see people doing those car washes.
It's like one of the ones that like you're professional, but like you also don't have to be because you're playing with water and soap and sponges all day. So it's like
it's a bunch of friends too, so it's awesome.
And people like to get their cars cleaned too.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Okay, now what else was I thinking about? I was thinking about what it's like for you on a day-to-day basis. How are you dealing with diabetes? What type of foods do you eat? What types of things do you have to worry or watch for?
So I can eat anything. Like you'll hear a lot of times people say, "Oh, can you eat this?" Like, yeah, I can, as long as I do insulin for it. So like, I can get home, I can eat whatever I want. But the thing I have to watch out for is like making sure I know the carbs in what I eat, because I have to cover for all the carbohydrates, do insulin for all my carbohydrates I eat.
So can you give us an example?
So if I get home and say I have a bag of Doritos, so there's like a little bag, like say 16, something like that. But if you have a bigger bag, then there's different serving sizes. Like if you just look and you see serving size, you think the serving size is the whole bag and you do insulin and then say eat the whole bag, you're gonna spike over where you should be. Like my range is like usually 100 to 120-ish is where they want me to stay, but yeah, so if I don't do the right amount of insulin to like the carbohydrates I eat, I go like some like way over 300, 400.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that.
No.
You must eat pretty healthy instead of a bag of Doritos all the time,
Yeah.
right?
I eat, I don't know, it depends.
What's your favorite food?
I don't know.
You don't
Food's
know?
good.
Food's good?
Yeah.
Do
I
you
don't know.
like, do you eat fish and chicken and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff? Potatoes?
I like meatloaf. Meatloaf's
Meatloaf?
good. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Nick?
I don't know.
So you don't have to worry. So Nick, you don't have diabetes.
No, just him.
What brought you to this cause?
Well, I've known Kevin since like kindergarten. So we've been friends since like kindergarten, and he told me about it. He was like, "Hi, like I want to ride in the Tour de Cure. I volunteered in it last year, and I want to get a team together." And I said, "Definitely, like." One of my best friends has diabetes, of course I want to help with it. And so I was like one of the original people on the team, along with I think 3 of our other friends.
Yeah.
And so we got the team together and we just didn't really know what was happening at first, but then we got the hang of it in the past year or so. Yeah.
And how do you think this is going to help you in your future? This activity, group activity where you're helping each other. What do you think?
I don't know. First of all, we're gonna find the cure someday. Like it's gonna happen, and this is just really helping research for it. And I feel like it's gonna help a lot with other things, like being able to talk to people about certain issues, and
it's cool because like now like I'll understand what it's like to be like a teenager doing this, like because I'm going through it. Like I know like now, before I probably barely knew what diabetes was before he had it. Like I knew what it was obviously, but I knew nothing about it. And like now I know so much about it, and like I know like how to help him like when something's wrong, like just I don't know, it's
like
really,
it helps people like realize too that like diabetes, it's bad, but it's not like you can't do this, you can't do that. There's no restrictions with it. Like it's gonna help people learn that like we can still do the same stuff.
So if we all wanted to go for ice cream after the show, We could do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. That's my favorite. That's my downfall for sure. But I have to watch it. And I think that we all need to really watch our sugar intake.
Yeah.
Now, do they come up with the cause of your diabetes or just...
It runs in my family. So like
obviously.
my dad had it, so now I have it. And it's supposed to skip a generation, but I don't know. There's not really any cause. Like I know type 2, like you can eat too much sugar, stuff like that. I'm not like wicked, like I don't know a lot about type 2 because I'm type 1, but yeah.
Yeah, very good. And I also want to know what other things do you participate in at school? You must do other things other than this particular cause. What do you find interesting at school?
Well, it's not really in school, but I volunteer, I help coach the Special Olympics. So
Okay.
like I help coach a team in the Special Olympics. They went to actually states, like I think it was last week. They did pretty good. And we also go to the Boston Rescue Mission, me and Nikki. So we go with a couple friends too, and we make meals, and then people come in and we feed homeless. We do outreach, which is like we go out on the streets with like food, and we set up a table, and people come and they get food, and pretty cool.
And now your parents must be encouraging you to do these things, because I can sense just the two of you are very inspired to help other people.
Yeah.
And that isn't necessarily a common thing in every 14 and 15-year-old. It's kind of all about me. But
Yeah.
it seems to be that you're all about other people. How does that feel to help other people?
It's a really good feeling, like knowing that you're helping. Like sometimes like the money will go to like camp scholarships too, because there's what's the name of the camp?
Jocelyn.
Camp Jocelyn.
Yes.
A lot of kids can't afford that, and a lot of kids don't understand what, like, that they think they're alone because they have diabetes. Like the boy that we met with when we were with Tara, he didn't really have a lot of friends that had diabetes. So like they wanted to sign him up for camp, so we met other kids who have diabetes, and he knew he wasn't alone. So like when money goes to that, it's kind of good because like you don't want to feel alone. Like you don't. It's just.
And I think like with me like helping coach Special Olympics, like I know what it feels like to be like doubted, like you can't do something. And I know that like they just need somebody like to help them, show them like you can do this, like
That's
we
right.
believe in you, like
They need a
you got
mentor.
this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you are both an example of just being a good team, a very good team. I had some numbers that I was rather amazed to read, and they're somewhere here. I don't want to misquote the numbers of the how many people have diabetes. There's about over 29 million.
29.1 million people have diabetes.
29.1 million, exactly. And that's roughly 10% of the population.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem, and it's not just people, because I know
Yeah.
from my experience with even dogs,
Yeah.
we're giving our dogs too many carbohydrates, unfortunately. And then the people who are at risk for diabetes is over 86 million.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So it's a big, big deal. I know my dad had diabetes, my sister has diabetes, so I'm very close to the cause,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy to have you here. I want our audience to understand how important it is to listen. Because now that I've had you with me, and I'm getting a much closer picture of what you're doing and how you feel about it, I think the most important thing to do is really have your ears open
Yeah.
and just understand what young people have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and health is a really important issue, especially when if you're young. You've got to get it right away, right?
That's
Yeah,
important.
You
When
look
you're-
like you wanted to say something.
Well, like a lot of people like don't realize it, but like apparently like at our local grocery store, when it comes close to the Tour de Cure, they actually have like flyers out. Like I went to Maine last year, and we had to go grocery shopping, and there was actually like a whole section for the Tour de Cure. It had flyers and like it had the pamphlets that they hand out, which like I don't think I ever would have realized and looked at unless I was a part of the team. And it's like you want to like look now, because like now I'm like, oh, like what else is there? Because like, and then I found Special Olympics things and just a whole bunch of other things that people don't notice unless they're like a part of it.
Absolutely. And I think this is a good time for both of you to tell our audience how they can reach you and get involved. That would be pretty important. You have a special website that they can go to. Do you want me to read that?
If you want me to read it, I just need
This
the
one
paper. I
here?
can't
Yeah.
remember the link.
This one here.
It is main.diabetes.org/go/1tribe.
Got it.
And then
Okay.
we have a Facebook page too, which is like the #1 tribe. So you can reach us there too.
Excellent.
And if anybody wants to join the team, like, we're open.
What do you
so.
have to do to set up your own team?
You just get a bunch of friends, family, adults, whatever, together, and then you go online. I think it's the Tour de Cure like homepage. I'm not exactly sure. Like, or you can go to the kickoff, and you all go and you sign up, and you just have to pay the $25 entry fee, or you can pay the $200. We like to do the fundraising because like it's fun and it gets
Raising
people
money.
aware,
Yeah.
and we're raising money. So then our entry fees end up becoming free. And like if one person doesn't get enough from their fundraiser, so say one person makes 120 from their fundraiser, but the other person makes like 260, 240, 280, something like that. The money that's left over from their fundraiser goes to that person who didn't get their entry fee.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So this is a special thing. I learned a lot today. I think our audience got a nice picture of two individuals who are right in there, working hard. And I want to wish you well, Kevin.
Thank you.
You just look like the picture of health. So whatever you're doing is perfect.
Thank you.
And the two of you are obviously lifelong friends. We'll talk about this in the years to come and remember this moment when we're together.
Yep.
And I want to thank you so very much. So it's Nick Nunes. Thank you
for
very
having
much.
me.
And Kevin Walsh.
Thank you.
And this is for the Tour de Cure
Yep.
for diabetes. They always happen in May. So
Yep.
every single May, doesn't matter what year it is, you'll be out there
Yep.
riding those bikes, trying to find a cure for diabetes.
Yep.
What a wonderful cause. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And this is Roberta Chadis. This is Get Your Voice Out There. What a great reason to get your voice out there today. And we'll end the show with one last picture, #9, of Kevin fantastically getting a basketball shot in there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.